Welcome to the Action Network podcast presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Chris Raybon. NFL Week 13 is here. It's time for more anytime touchdowns. Today, we're going to go through the NFL Week 13 Sunday slate. We'll alternate giving our favorite player to find the end zone. That we'll be looking to sprinkle in. We'll track all of these in the Touchdown Show account on the Action Network app, so be sure to follow that account. We'll also get some parlays set up for Sunday and Monday Night Football before we get it here and track them in our Parlay Express account on the Action Network app, so be sure to follow Parlay Express as well. If you want to tail some of these bets, you can look for the quick slip link in the podcast video description or go to actionnetwork.com/bet now. All right, we'll get into Sunday slate in a second, but just want to remind everybody that it's that time of year. We have a great deal on Action Pro as part of our Black Friday sale. It's live right now. Sign up for an annual subscription, and your first 3 months are only $19.99. Action Pro users get real-time alerts as soon as experts like Koerner, Nick Giffen, Stuckey, Jill, myself track picks in the app. Without Action Pro, you'll need to wait 30 minutes to get alerts and risk not getting the best of the number. You'll also get real-time money percentages to see whether smart money is flowing and access to our NFL player prop projections powered by Sean Koerner. This deal is over soon, so go to actionnetwork.com/pro to sign up now for an annual subscription and get your first 3 months for just $19.99. That's actionnetwork.com/pro. All right, Sunday slate action, divisional matchup, Texans at Colts. Koerner, who do you like?
Yeah, I like Jaden Higgins again at plus 300. Cashed in with him last week. Jill did as well at around plus 550. So
Nice.
Not shocked to see his odds drop quite a bit here, but I think he's still worth it at plus 300. And, leading up to his touchdown catch, he had so many plays where he just missed. He was either on the wrong page with Davis Mills or he was like, I don't know whose fault it was, but he was so close. And it's just a reminder that, not every rookie wide receiver is going to be at their ceiling right away. There's going to be some growing pains, but they typically get better, in the second half of the season. I've noticed that with Higgins, his usage rate's way up. Last week he had a 70% route run rate, so he's effectively their number 2 wide receiver now, across from Nico Collins. So I still like buying in on Higgins here at plus 300. And then on the other side, I just got to go with my guy Alec Pierce at plus 290. This is obviously a tougher matchup against the Texans secondary, but Alec Pierce can score on anybody because he's, an elite downfield threat. So give me Alec Pierce at plus 290.
Yeah, man. Alec Pierce. I feel like he's been undervalued in the entire market all year long. So keep it going. Niners going to Cleveland. Browns always play good defense at home. Joe, who do you like in this one?
I'm going to go with my guys. The same Niners player I've taken 3 of the last 4 weeks. I'm going to take him again. Juwan Jennings. He's around 3-1 as of Tuesday afternoon. So 4 touchdowns this year. Leads the Niners in red zone targets and end zone targets. Brock Purdy back at quarterback, but as long as he's on track and not throwing interceptions, again, that's a big if. I'm feeling pretty good because the Browns, they play man coverage at the 4th highest rate and the 2nd highest rate of single high safety. And Jennings just leads the Niners by a mile in target share versus those defenses. So I'll take him at plus 300. On the Browns side, it gets a little tricky here. I think I'm going to go with Harold Fanta Jr., though. He's around plus 400. He played a season high 90% of snaps in week 12, led the Browns in targets. He ran last week. We went with David Njoku. He ran over double the routes of David Njoku last week. And I think the Browns offense is just a little bit undervalued because of the Shedeur Sanders limitations as a quarterback. They kind of used kid gloves on him last week. I think everything was very deliberate. Nothing was really off script except for that long pass to Isaiah Bond. So I think with another week of practice, Fannin should see more looks against the Niners defense that is bottom 10 in targets, catches, and yards to tight ends with 7 touchdowns allowed. Now, Raybon, I want to ask you, last week we bet on Raiders defensive special teams touchdown, thinking of how we could fade Shedeur Sanders in his first official start. Do you think the Niners defensive special teams has some value? It's around 5-1 this week against the Browns.
I actually thought Shedeur wasn't as bad as I thought he would be. The Niners defense is, they played well on Monday night, but they can be bad. I almost want to just target the Raiders. Whoever's playing the Raiders is probably the move. They just fired their offensive coordinator. I don't know what's going on there. So, it's not a 5-1 is pretty juiced up. I think you got to target somebody else, until those odds drop. But because I think we were getting longer than that last week.
It was around plus 800 last week with the Raiders. So
yeah, now we didn't get one, and it's gone down for the Niners. Who's even on their defense? Yeah. The Action Network podcast is sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook, and in partnership with DraftKings, Action Network podcast listeners get a great offer. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 back in bonus bets if your bet wins, plus 3 months of NBA League Pass. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on star player props and in-progress games right as they happen. To get started, use promo code Action Network when signing up with DraftKings. That's code Action Network when signing up with DraftKings for 3 months of NBA League Pass and $200 back in bonus bets. If your bet wins, the crown is yours. Cardinals at Bucks. Still some question as to what's going on with Baker Mayfield and this Bucks offense. I'm going to go with Trey McBride for the Cardinals, though. I didn't get in the end zone last week, but with Jacoby Brissett, he still scored in all but one game. This Bucks team is going to blitz and kind of leave guys, vacate zones in the middle of the field. We saw Colby Parkinson take advantage last week. I think McBride could get in the end zone, plus 125 for him. And for the Bucks, Tez Johnson is 4-1. Now, again, there's question marks about, quarterback situation and whatnot, but Tez Johnson was still an 85% routes player last week, and that's with Godwin coming back. Godwin was only at half that, and Shepard had his normal role in the slot. So at this point, I don't know if Tez Johnson's going to be knocked out of that top three. I mean, he's been playing so well. They just love to get him the ball, and that's going to be even more true if Baker Mayfield is out for an extended period of time. So I think Tez Johnson is undervalued here at 4-1. Where Godwin's at plus 250. Those should probably be flipped. So give me Tez at 4-1. Saints going to Miami to face the Dolphins. Koerner, who are we looking at?
Yeah, so this game I have to go 2 long shots. So on the Saints side, I think as you pointed out, Raybon, Devin Neal is probably offering value. Anything over like 2-1. I think he's going to be the clear lead back with Alvin Kamara out. Kind of reminds me of DeAndre Swift, where he's a really good pass catching back as well. But I'm going to go with Audric Estime here for my pick at 12-1. Because I think, they probably have no choice but to elevate him and play him here with, Kamara out. And Estime does kind of profile as kind of a short yardage goal line type back. So if they do get in the red zone, I know we're going to have Taysom Hill out there and those shenanigans, but there's a chance they let Estime get a crack if they get at the goal line. So I think at 12-1, he's worth it. I'm only projecting him a few carries, and I'm getting his fair price closer to 9-1. So I like him here. And then on the other side, I'm going to go with Cedric Wilson at 14-1. In their last game, he overtook Nick Westbrook-Akina as the number 3 wide receiver. And just for whatever reason, it just hasn't worked for NWI in this offense. He was a touchdown machine on the Titans just a year ago, but just isn't clicking with him on the Dolphins. So they let Cedric Wilson take some of his snaps. So, Wilson's not like a serious threat to score, but he has scored a touchdown 4 of the last 5 seasons. So if he's out there running routes and he's 14-1, I think he's worth a flyer here.
Yeah, he definitely, Nick Westbrook-Akina has done nothing. He's a cardio king. Talk about cardio kings. Has this guy had a target recently? I
was going to say, it just doesn't get targeted.
Yeah.
Running clear out routes.
Next up, we got the Falcons going to the Jets. Saints, Dolphins, Falcons, Jets, back to back. Joe, who do you like here?
Well, normally I only take one player on each side, but I love the odds for both of these guys. Adonai Mitchell is plus 750 and John Mechie is 8-1. So I'm going to probably put a half unit on both of those guys this week. Mechie has caught 2 touchdowns in 3 games with the Jets. He had 10 targets over the last 2 weeks, leads the team in red zone targets. So Mechie at 8-1 for me is just a huge value. And then, of course, our guy, Adonai Mitchell, who clearly they're trying to get him the ball in space. He led the team in targets in both of those, each of the last 2 games. And one of the things that we like to do against this Falcons defense, we like to target the wide receiver who does really well against a single high safety because they played at the highest rate in the NFL, the Alec Pierce move, as Koerner used to do. So that's Mitchell, who leads the Jets in targets per route run against both of those defenses and zone defense. So Also, a little encouraging thing about Mitchell, I thought about this because the last time that he faced a heavy team that plays a lot of single high safety and a lot of zone was against the Rams. And that was the game where he was supposed to score that friggin' touchdown and then dropped it at the goal line. So I'm going to take both Adonai Mitchell at plus 750 and John Mechie at 8-1. On the Falcons side, it's pretty boring. I'm just going to take Kyle Pitts. He's plus 260. This will be the week where he gets like one target, but the week that we don't take him is when he goes off. But again, playing man at top 5 right now by the Jets. He has a higher target share versus man defense. Drake London could be out again. They've allowed 7 touchdowns to tight ends. So unless you want to take like Tyler Algier around like plus 180, I'll take Kyle Pitts again at plus 260 now, especially with Kirk Cousins at quarterback, who I think is just a little bit more upside from a passing standpoint as long as he doesn't turn it over.
You're brave, man. Kyle Pitts, probably.
I know.
I mean, whew, man, this guy, it's got to happen sometime, I think. Next up, we got Jags at Titans. I'm going to roll with Brenton Strange on the Jags, plus 425. Returned last week and had a pretty good game. Now, the thing is, he hasn't seen a ton of red zone work to date for the Jags, but I think he's clearly their best tight end. Hunter Long still a little bit banged up, so we'll see about him. But I think Strange is going to start to see more work in the red zone. He's just their number one tight end, 68% route rate in his return. And this Titan defense is shaky. And if you look at the Jaguars odds, I mean, Brian Thomas, we don't know if he's going to be back yet. Parker Washington's just scoring every game, so he's probably starting to get up there and like a little bit overvalued. And then, the running backs, because Tootin had that big game a couple games ago, both of the running backs are still kind of overpriced. And we know running backs score against the Titans. So I'm looking at Strange here. He's the one guy that's going to get a ton of work with that first team offense that whose odds don't really reflect his true touchdown odds. So give me Brenton Strange at plus 425. And then for the Titans, got to go with Cam Ward at 10-1. And Ward's been scrambling a lot more lately. 8 scrambles over the past 2 games, 5 in his last game for 31 yards and a touchdown. So that might be something that we see continues. The Jaguars have given up 3 touchdowns to opposing quarterback. All right, so we'll see if Cam Ward can keep it going again for the Titans, scrambling a lot more. Recently loved those odds at 10-1. Next up, we got the Minnesota Vikings at the Seattle Seahawks. Koerner, man, this Vikings offense has really gone downhill. Who you like in this game?
Well, I'm going to stick with who Gilles gave out last week. I thought it was a great play. I'm going to go with Josh Oliver at 13-1 here. Maybe like how I loosened the jar for Dak with for Gilles with Dak. Gilles loosened the jar for me with Josh Oliver. But last week he saw a season high 32% routes run rate, so that was a great time to be on his touchdown market. He's just a good blocking tight end, and the Vikings seem to want to use more heavy personnel, lean on the run, and high JJ McCarthy. So I could see them sticking with that this week with Max Brosmer starting. I thought he was sneaky good in preseason. I think he's gonna be an easy upgrade over JJ McCarthy. I don't know who wouldn't be at this point. So God. I think that he could surprise, and the Vikings could score a few touchdowns here, increasing the chances a fringe guy like Oliver gets one. So he's sticking out to me as the best value at 13-1. And I'm going to go with the tight end on the other side. He was my favorite play last week. He's my favorite play this week. AJ Barner at plus 275. Same reason as last week. He's already, the clear lead tight end in this offense, and he's their ball carrier in the tush push. It doesn't mean he's going to score every single week, but I think at, anything around plus 250 to plus 300 odds, he's going to be worth it. So I'll stick with AJ Barner here as well.
Yeah, Barner, tough week for him last week, but great matchup for him. Everyone, they just love to use extra tight ends against the Vikings. So there's going to be he's going to be out there. Royo's going to be out there. It's just going to be, I think, a tight end show against the Vikings here. All right, next up, we got the Raiders and the Chargers, divisional clash. Chargers coming off the long rest. Gilles, who do you like in this one?
All right, we're going to start on the Chargers side. Keenan Allen, he's around plus 275. knowing the Raiders, they play zone at the highest rate in the NFL. When they played in week 2, Quentin Johnson and Keenan Allen both scored on them. But Allen is actually, he's the one who leads the Chargers in touchdowns versus zone coverages this year and also has the highest target share. So coming off that bye, I expect the Chargers offense to get back on track. Allen should get another touchdown against the Raiders. But on the Raiders side, it's not a lot of upside. But the fact that we're getting Brock Bowers at 2-1, I got to take him again here because just even in 8 games, he has 7 ed zone targets, 22 targets just over the last 2 games. Michael Mayer might be out again this week after getting hurt, ankle injury. Chargers, they also play zone at the 4th highest rate, the 2nd highest rate of 2 high safety. And Bowers naturally will lead the Chargers in targets per run against both of those defenses. So the other thing too is I was very put off by, I didn't want to bet anybody like a Tyler Lockett or a Dante Thornton because the Chargers are very good at defending the deep ball. So I think if the Raiders can score some passing touchdowns, it's likely going to be in the short range, which aids Brock Bowers. So I'm going to take Brock Bowers and Keenan Allen for that matchup.
I mean, they got the new offensive coordinator. I can't go anywhere but up. I mean, it's just head scratching. Even just not playing the rookies, like it was going bad in Vegas. So we'll see what happens there. Bills at Steelers. For the Steelers, I'm going to go Kenny Gainwell at plus 215. The Bills' run defense has been very shoddy. And I think, with Pittsburgh playing Warren and Gainwell and kind of a platoon now, Gainwell's starting to get more snaps again, even in the run games, 30% of the backfield carries last week. I know Warren did come into that game banged up, but, Gainwell continues to make the most of his opportunities. So I think we're going to still see, like a 60-40, 70-30 split at worst. But Gainwell in this game, I think they're going to be extremely run heavy. You definitely want to target the Bills on the ground. That's where you win against them. They've been one of the worst run Ds in the league. And then for the Bills, got to go with Josh Allen at even money. Still looking for that rushing touchdown record. So pretty simple cap there. Just they get around the goal line. I think Josh Allen either tries to get it in himself on a scramble or something, or if it's a design carry, I think it goes to him if he can get there. So Josh Allen, even money. Kenny Gainwell plus 215. Next up, we got the Rams at the Carolina Panthers. Panthers off that Monday night loss. Rams off that Sunday night win. Koerner, who do you like in this one?
Yeah, so this one, there's really no market for it yet. So I'm going to go with like 2 longer shot guys I think will be offering value. And first up is my guy, Blake Corum. Obviously he is the clear backup to Kyren Williams right now. But this is a game, the Rams could win easily, and someone like Corum could get more work in the second half of the game. And yes, he was stuffed at the goal line, 3 straight times the other week, but, doesn't mean he's not going to score a touchdown ever again. So I like him here in a potential blowout. And if the Rams get up big in the first half, I would like to look for like Ronnie Rivers' last touchdown scorer. Sometimes you can get those at like 50-1. When it looks likely, they're going to blow them out. So that's another potential angle for this game. And then on the Panthers side, Rico Dowdle and Tet are the clear favorites to score for the Panthers, but I love Mitchell Evans as a sneaky touchdown bet. He's their, third string tight end, but they do use all 3 tight ends quite a bit. And Evans specifically tends to get a lot more work once they do get in the red zone. He has 2 touchdowns on the season. That botched 1st and goal play on the 1-yard line was actually a target to Mitchell Evans. So he's getting work out there. A lot of people don't know who he is, but he's a decent rookie in what's been like a really, really good tight end class. So I think he's still overlooked. So I think Mitchell Evans on the Panthers side is a solid long shot.
Yeah, I like, that Jatavian Sanders, man, what happened to him? Like, it seems like his playing time's just decreasing more and more lately, and it just really hasn't been too productive. All right, let's finish it up with we're going to do the 2 primetime games, but before that, we'll get into our favorite Sunday anytime touchdown parlay presented by DraftKings. Koerner, your favorite anytime touchdown from the Sunday daytime, early and late window, not the Sunday night football, but the early and late slates. Who do you like?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with AJ Barner here around, plus 270. So I'm doubling down on this week. Again, he can get there via the pass as a normal tight end or a ball carrier in their tush-push play. So he has multiple paths to get there as a tight end. So I still like him at plus 270.
Gilles?
I'm going to go with Brock Bowers. The last time that these two teams played in week 2, he wasn't healthy, and you could clearly see it. I think he's back now, and anything over plus 200, I love him there.
I'm going to roll with Colby Parkinson. This guy continues to be underpriced in the market. Is the Rams lead tight end now with Tyler Higbee out? And because, Parkinson and Higbee were splitting the early down reps, Parkinson kind of has the most to gain in terms of, usage. Terrence Ferguson, a lot of third down reps. So I think that's why he's still been a little shaky in the touchdown market. Just hasn't been seeing enough work in the red zone yet. But Parkinson, we saw him score yet again. I like this matchup against the Panthers, who tend to play a lot of zone coverage, which is great for tight ends. So you parlay AJ Barner, Brock Bowers, and Colby Parkinson. What is it? National Tight End Day. We got 3 tight ends here. 30-1. If you parlay those 3, that was our favorite anytime touchdown parlay presented by DraftKings for Week 13, the Sunday daytime slate. All right, let's get to Sunday night football. So we got the Denver Broncos going to Washington to face the Commanders. Koerner, Broncos put J.K. Dobbins on IR, so they'll be with Harvey again leading the way. You looking at him or somebody else in this one?
No, I'm looking at AJ Harvey, and again, we saw their first game without J.K. Dobbins. Harvey really operated as the clear lead back. Sean Payton didn't pull any of his typical shenanigans. He really leaned on Harvey, and they beat the Chiefs in their Week 11 game, and they've been on bye, and rookies typically improve after the bye week. So I like Harvey here, and Jaleel McLaughlin's got the vulture score, but that was just more of circumstance. He just happened to be out there when they did score that touchdown. So if you look at the underlying usage, RJ Harvey was operating as the clear lead back. He can score via the run or pass, so I like him here.
Joe, who do you like in Broncos Commanders?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Bronco myself, but it's going to be Troy Franklin. 8 end zone targets already, and leads the team in red zone targets as well. You would think that would be Cortland Sutton's role. No, it's Troy Franklin in this offense, and playing against a team that plays a lot of man coverage, and he leads the team in targets per route run. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. I'm going to keep going with Troy Franklin.
I'm going to roll with the Bronco too. Just don't really have confidence in the Commanders, even at home against this Bronco D. But I'm going to go with Pat Bryant at a little over plus 400. And he's just been seeing a big uptick in his usage lately. Even with Marvin Mims back, it's been more like a 2-to-1 split in favor of Bryant as of late. And now, coming off the long rest, and it's going to be I think another kind of bump up for the rookie. You like Harvey in this spot, like Bryant as well. I think the Sean Payton always wants to get his rookies involved. He likes to get a ton of guys involved, period. But so you got to kind of just roll with the guys who are trending up. Franklin's been doing it all year now. He's been trending up. I think Bryant and Harvey, taking over. So I think Harvey and Bryant are next. So I love this one. I think these are the guys who are you going to see a lot of as the Broncos try to make that playoff push. So Harvey, Franklin, Bryant, you parlay those 3. 35-1 odds. Let's finish it up with Monday Night Football, Giants, Patriots. Koerner, who do you like in the this rematch of, or not the shouldn't say rematch. Oh yeah, rematch of those 2 Super Bowls. The last time the Giants had anything good going for them. What are we doing in this one?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Devin Singletary around plus 220 here. Tyrone Tracy is taken over as the lead back with Scadaboo out, but Singletary's been mixing in a lot more than I expected, especially in short yardage and goal line work. He had those 2 touchdowns the other week against the Packers. But if Jackson Dart returns, they probably want him to use his legs a little bit less and take less unnecessary shots with their season basically down the drain here. So I think we could see Singletary get more work around the goal line as opposed to Dart if he does return this week.
Yeah, I think it was something like Singletary had taken like all 18 of 18 short yardage and goal line snaps over the past few weeks or something. Like it was, It's pretty nuts. So yeah, he's definitely the guy they trust in there. Tracy had had fumble issues in the past, so they still love him between the 20s, but it's usually Singletary in the important situations. Jill, who do we like for Patriots Giants?
Yeah, I felt almost compelled to do the booties up pick, but I just couldn't get there. I figured I'd just keep going with Pop Douglas. Demario Douglas again. Now he's up to 6-1. I will say his snaps have started to trend down over the last few weeks, but I'm still encouraged in this matchup because we know the Giants are going to play a ton of man coverage and they are susceptible to the deep ball. Well, Douglas, he has the highest targets for run versus man defense, and he leads the team in ADOT. So if you're going to give me a deep target like him, especially with the way that Drake is throwing the ball, I'm going to take Demario Douglas at 6-1.
Yeah, it's crazy that it leads the team in ADOT. I mean, you would think of him as exactly the opposite kind of receiver.
He's finally surpassed Booty in the deep shots.
Yeah. Oh, man. No comment. All right. Isaiah Hodgins for me, 5-1. This guy is essentially the Giants' number 2 receiver. He's going to be featured in the red zone regardless. Actually did operate as their number 2 ahead of Slayton last week. That could flip because Slayton was coming back off an injury. But remember, Hodgins has been with Kafka back in 2023. So this is essentially their same wide receiver rotation. It's Wan'Dale, Slayton, Hodgins. You got Hyatt, who's not even playing. So that clears up more routes for Hodgins. So against this Patriot defense that very good against the run, more of a pass funnel defense, Hodgins is going to get some opportunities. Wan'Dale Robinson is going to be in the slot. He's their number 1 receiver, but a little bit undersized. So when they get in the red zone, I think it's Hodgins as their number 1, him and Theo Johnson really, because Slayton's more of a deep ball guy than a red zone guy. So I really like this price for Isaiah Hodgins. Longer odds than both Slayton and Theo and Wan'Dale. So I think that's those are going to come down as the week progresses. You parlay Singletary, Demario Douglas, and Isaiah Hodgins. You get 140-1 odds. That's a banger to close it out. All right. Follow the Touchdown Show account on the Action Network app to see all of these plays. You can also find all of our parlays and longer shot bets on the Parlay Express account and the Action app as well. That's going to do it for NFL Week 13 Touchdown Show presented by DraftKings. If you want to tail some of the touchdown bets we discussed, you can also find the quick slip link in the podcast and video description or visit actionnetwork.com/bet now. Don't forget to check out Playbook on X. Sean is on X at @_oddsmaker. Jill is at GDAWG5000, GDog5000. I'm at Chris Raybon. We're at those same handles on the app. Happy Thanksgiving. Let's get this money. Let's give this money.